Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's digital session after the first online assessment for the subject Science and Technology Section A. As promised to you and the request from your side, we are first going to discuss the multiple choice questions and the question answers for experiment number 1 from our journal. Hence, I request all of you to be present with the journals in your hands, and later on we are going to start with a new chapter from section A, that is current electricity. So initially let us discuss the multiple choice questions for experiment number 1. Journal page number 3. Journal page number 3. On page number 2 you have the experiment. In the practical video I have guided you what diagrams you have to draw and what observations and inference you have to write. Just the MCQs and questions will be discussed now. So the first multiple choice question is, Newton's dash law of motion is used in rocket launching. First, third, second, gravitational. We have studied all the 3 laws of motion in chapter number 1. Rocket launching, you know, both action and reaction forces come into play. So it is based on third law of motion. You can just mark the MCQs now. Later on you can complete the journal. Second is, while doing the procedure 1, we had seen 3 procedures in the video. In the first procedure it was take some sand in a beaker, place a card sheet on it and keep a metal coin in the center, strike the card sheet with a flick of the finger, and then what was the observation? The metal coin, it fell in the beaker. That coin, it fell in the beaker. So while doing the procedure 1, the coin fell in the beaker due to the property of the coin which is called as inertia. Initially the coin was in a state of rest, so it fell in the beaker due to the property which is called as inertia. Third one, the forces of action and reaction have the same unit and opposite direction. So out of the 4 options, that is unit, direction, unit, momentum, inertia, and inertia, momentum, the A, that is unit direction, is the correct option. Next one, number 4. On release of a bullet from the gun moves back slightly. This motion is called as recoil. So out of the options, impact, imbalanced force, inertia, and recoil is the correct answer. And the last one is, momentum is equal to dash, velocity upon mass, acceleration upon time, velocity multiplied by mass, speed multiplied by mass. You all have studied the Newton's second law of motion. You know the formula for momentum. It is mass into velocity. So the first one, option A, is the correct option. I hope you have understood the answers for multiple choice questions. Now let us discuss the questions which are given on page number 3. The first question is, now out of the 3 questions, I will make you write only the first and the second one. Pay attention carefully. Again and again the same instructions won't be given. Out of the 3, you will write only number 1 and 2, because if you see question number 2 and 3, they are similar. First one is, which other procedures will you suggest to study Newton's laws of motion in the laboratory? Now n number of procedures need not write. Any one procedure from where you can derive, from where you can study Newton's law of motion, that procedure you can write. A simple one I have selected. You can throw a ball on the wall. Now they have told, will you suggest in the laboratory? At present, you are not visiting the laboratories in the school. You all are at home. So whatever procedures you can do to study this laws in the home, at home, that procedure you can write. So very simple one I have taken. You can throw a ball on the wall. It will come back to you. Surely if you throw a hard object on the wall, it will again bounce back and come back to you. It will be according to Newton's third law. And what is the third law? Every action has equal and opposite reaction. Now here, each and every procedure, to study each and every law, you don't have to write. Only one procedure for any one of the laws of motion you can write. I hope you have understood. So any one example in simple words, if you want to understand any one example, you can write which example enables you to study this law, any law. First law, second law, here I have taken third law. Question number second, it says, explain some examples from our everyday life based on Newton's laws of motion. Now here I need not give you the examples, still for you I have written down some of them, because when the theory part of the chapter was taken up, so many examples we have discussed through the videos. So here explain some examples. Now explain is not important. Here you can just write the examples, give some examples. And the third question also is explain Newton's laws of motion with the help of one single example in daily life. And that is why I said second and third are similar questions. So out of these two, you will write only the second question. Now here for every law of motion, I have supported with two examples. For the first law of motion, the first example which I have taken is brakes applied by a bus driver abruptly. And the second one, a ball rolling on the ground. These two examples I have written for Newton's first law of motion. Any example, you can take the help of the textbook, you can take the help of the social media, you can search on the Google net, and any two examples of your choice per law you are going to write over here. For the Newton's second law of motion, what is the first law of motion? If you can just recollect, every object continues to be in its state of rest or of motion unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. So one example I have taken, an object which was moving, by applying brakes, it is brought to rest. And the object, here also you can say the ball rolling on the ground, it will continue to roll unless and until you are going to apply any force and stop it. Newton's second law of motion, it is based on momentum. So the first example which I have taken is pushing a car is easier than pushing a truck with the same amount of force. Why? Because the mass of the car is lesser than the mass of the truck. What is the second law? The rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force. And the change of momentum occurs in the direction of force. So here momentum is based, it is a product of mass and velocity. So when you compare between a car and a truck, pushing a car will be easier than pushing a truck. If you can just remember one give reason for the cricket ball and tennis ball, based on this concept we have written. So any example? Second, in golf game, acceleration of the golf ball is directly proportional to the force with which it is hit by the golf stick. You know the golf game. Okay, so these two examples I have written. Any other example of your choice you can write. Third law of motion, our hand feels pain when we hit the table because the table gives force as a reaction to our hand. What is Newton's third law? To every action there is an equal, opposite and instantaneous reaction. So if you are going to hit the table with your hand will surely not be saved. It will also experience some pain which is given by the table as a reaction to your hand. Second, a ball thrown on the ground exerts a downward force. In response, the ground exerts an upward force on the ball and it bounces. When you throw the ball on the ground, it will exert a force in the downward direction on the ground. At the same time, as a reaction, the ground will also exert a force in the upward direction on the ball, due to which the ball will bounce. So here we complete with the discussion of MCQs and questions for experiment number 1. Now in your Monday's video, you will get experiment number 1 from section B in your journal on page number 31. So this experiment I have divided in 2 lectures, means 2 practical periods. In this experiment number 1 on page number 31, hardly you have to only label. Diagrams are already printed for you. You have to label the diagrams and then complete the classification chart. So everything I have discussed through the practical video. So nothing later on will be discussed through the theory videos. Now let us come back to our theory session and begin with a new chapter before the online assessment. One chapter for the terminal exam. That is chapter number 8, useful and harmful microbes. From section B is already completed in all terms. Explanation, discussion of textual and additional questions, everything. Now today we will begin with a fresh chapter from section A, current electricity. Look at the name, current electricity. This word is not at all new for you. You know how important electricity, how and you can say important role this electricity plays in our daily life. When you go to sleep, you just imagine your sleep without the fan, or the moment you get up, you wake up in the morning, you know different devices which are based on electricity start working. You take the help of the heater to heat the water. Fans, if you just close, your parents close, then also you start grumbling. If it is dark outside, you immediately switch on the tube lights or the lights. And the real, you can say, value of electricity, you just come to know when there is a power supply cut off. Even though there are inverters in your house, then also you know that all the devices are not connected to it. So all these pictures here which you can see, here you can see computer, refrigerators, television sets. So all these electrical devices, they require electricity for their functioning. Now domestic appliances, the appliances which you have in your house, like this fridge, electric oven, mixer, they really have helped us by saving time and labor. And all these devices, you know, they cannot run without electricity. Now one surprise for you is that not only human beings but some animals also use electricity. You might be wondering how teacher is talking about the animals. Yes, if you take a good example, it is given in your textbook also. Fishes such as eels, they use electricity to catch their prey and also for their own self-defense. The lightning that strikes the earth is also a very excellent example of natural flow of electricity. And for the generation of electricity, you all know water is which is stored in a dam is released from a dam at a higher level, and because of gravity it falls to a lower level. Last chapter, work and energy, in the topic of transformation of energy, we have studied about it. So based on it, we are going to study a new concept from current electricity. So in this chapter, what you are going to study is basic knowledge of electricity you all have. Now the scientific concepts related to current electricity we are going to study in this chapter. So our first topic is potential and potential difference. For this, a small demonstrative experiment is given in the textbook. You can see these 2 plastic bottles, a rubber tube joining both of them, a clamp and water. So just imagine you have to set up the experiment as you can see here in this figure. Then you slowly remove the clamp from the rubber tube and you have to note the observations. What will you observe? What will happen when the clamp is removed? You will immediately see that the water will start flowing from the first plastic bottle to the other one, which is at a lower height. See, one is kept at a higher height and the other one is at a lower height than the first one. And does the water stop flowing? And if it stops flowing, when and why? Yes, at a particular time interval, the water flow from this plastic bottle to the lower one will stop when the levels of water will become equal in both the plastic bottles. And just like water, just now we have seen here about the flow of water, the flow of electric charge between 2 points depends on a kind of electric level at those points, and this level is called as electric potential. So taking this example, we come to know what is electric potential, and in simple words, if you have to define electric potential, it is nothing but the electric level at a particular point. Now, you have seen in the earlier standards that the flow of positive charge is from a point of higher potential to a point of lower potential. You must have seen a waterfall. Which way the water flows? The water flows from a higher height to the lower height. So similarly, you can apply the concept here. Flow of positive charge is from a point of higher potential to a point of lower potential. And earlier standards, you have also seen that electricity, it flows due to the flow of electrons, and the conduction of electricity is due to the flow of negatively charged electrons. And what is the direction of their flow? Electrons flow from the point of a lower potential to a point of higher potential. A lightning strike is the flow of electrons from the point of lower, that is negative potential, on the clouds to the point of higher, that is the zero potential on the earth. And in the higher standards, you are going to study the definition of this electric potential. What is the potential difference? Now, the potential difference between the values of potentials at both the points, that is A and B. Here you can see in this figure, conductor A. Conductor in this chapter will mean a conducting wire, a wire which conducts current, a wire which allows the current to flow through it. So here in this experimental setup or in this figure, conductor A and B, you can see both of them. So it is at a higher potential, you can see a positive charge, then conductor B which is at a lower potential. When both of this, they are joined, they are connected by a conducting wire, a potential difference you can see is created between its both the ends, and the electrons will flow from B to A. Why? See here, both are different. Flow of positive charge from the point of higher potential to a point of lower potential, but the flow of electrons is from the lower potential. Why? Because you know electrons are negatively charged. So you will see that the electrons will flow from B to A through the conducting wire, and this will continue, this flow will continue until both the conductors, that is A and B, they have the same potential. Means what? Until their potential difference becomes zero, and only then will the flow of electrons stop. If you just remember the previous small experiment about the two bottles, I had told you the flow of water will stop when the levels of water in both the plastic bottles will be same. And here work has to be done. against the electric field to take a positive charge from a point of lower potential to a point of higher potential. And from this we are going to study the next concept, that is potential difference of a cell. Just now I have told you that this flow will continue until their potential difference becomes zero. So what is this potential difference? The difference in potential between the positive and negative terminals of a cell is the potential difference of that particular cell. The difference in the positive and negative terminals. You know, a cell has two terminals. One is the positive and the other is the negative terminal. Now this potential difference, it is caused by the chemical reactions which are taking place, the chemical reactions which are occurring inside the cell. The potential difference, it sets the electrons in motion. You know that for the production of current, the flow of electrons is necessary, and thus it results in the flow of electricity through a conducting wire which is connected to the two ends of the cell. Now the amount of work, previously I have told you that work has to be done against the electric field to take a positive charge from the lower potential to higher potential. So the amount of work done to carry a unit positive charge from point A to point B is called the electric potential difference. And the formula of potential difference between 2 points is the work done upon the total charge transferred. The work done in transferring or carrying the charge from one end to the other end. So potential difference is shown by V, capital V. It is work is denoted by W upon charge is denoted by Q. So V is equal to capital W upon capital W upon capital Q. So when you can say that the potential difference is 1 volt when 1 joule of work is done in moving 1 coulomb of charge from one point to the other. So 1 volt potential difference is equal to 1 joule upon 1 coulomb. Why I spoke volt over here? Because the SI unit of potential difference is volt. Now why the potential difference, its unit is volt? The Italian scientist Alessandro Volta, he constructed the first electric cell, and the unit of potential difference is named volt in recognition of his valuable work, and hence the SI unit of potential difference is volt. Here you just don't have to learn the things. You should also know the reason behind everything happens because of a particular reason. How just you can give any name or any unit to any physical quantity, some theme, some reason is behind that, and the reasoning behind the unit of potential difference is the valuable work done by the scientist Alessandro Volta. Now some small conversions I am going to display over here. So very small values of potential difference are expressed in millivolt and microvolt. Milli, micro, small values, and large values kilo and megavolt. So these conversions you should remember, as they can be asked under match the columns or true and false. So 1 millivolt is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 volt. 1 microvolt is equal to 10 raised to minus 6 volts. 1 kilovolt is equal to 10 raised to 3 volts, and 1 megavolt is equal to 10 raised to 6 volts. So these are the conversions which you have to remember. Now we will speak about the free electrons. Just now I have told you that electrons, the flow of electrons generates electricity in any metallic conductor. So here you can see the single atom having a center known as the nucleus, and electrons, they rotate around the nucleus in their particular orbits. Here you can see the weakly attached outermost electrons. Free electrons move freely from atom to atom. So atoms in a conducting solid. Conducting solid means a solid which conducts the current. You know that metal, in metal, the metal is formed from different atoms of that particular substance. So every atom of a metallic conductor has one or more outermost electrons which are very weakly bound to the nucleus, and being weakly bound to the nucleus, they are free to move about in the conductor and are called as free electrons. As you can see here in this figure, the electrons can easily move from one part of the conductor to the other parts, and the negative charge of the electrons, it also gets transferred as a result of this motion. Now you know electrons can easily travel from one part of the conductor to the other, and electrons are negatively charged. So immediately as this electrons start moving from one part of the conductor to the other, what will happen? The negative charge of the electrons, it also gets transferred, and the free electrons in a conductor are hence called the carriers of negative charge. Now a small diagrammatic view of how current flows through this conductor. In this chapter we are going to label the names for the wire as conductor, or we will call it as wire. Both are the same. So current flowing through a wire. You can see here in this figure, if a conducting wire is not connected to a cell, a very small example we will take. If your button is not switched on, the electrical device which is connected to it, will it start working? No. Similarly, if a conducting wire is not connected to a cell, then its free electrons, they move randomly in all the directions in the space between the atoms. You can see here, they are in a state of random motion because the conducting wire, it is not connected to a particular cell. So the random motion of electrons in that particular wire. And what happens when we connect the ends of the wire to the two terminals of a cell? See here, positive terminal and negative terminal. Immediately what will happen? Electric force starts acting on the electrons. So these electrons which were in a state of random motion, when the connection of the ends of the wire is to the positive and negative terminals of the cell, being negatively charged, these electrons, what they will do? They will start moving from the negative to the positive terminal of the cells, from the negative to the positive. And see, you can see this arrow. Electrons, the direction of flow of electrons is from negative to the positive terminal, and due to the flow of this electrons, current starts flowing through the wire. I have told you, for the flow of current, flow of electrons are required. So the flow of electrons generates current in the wire, and this motion of electrons is irregular, but there is a definite non-zero value to their average speed, to their average velocity. So the motion of electrons after applying a potential difference to the two ends of the wire. Now here one thing you have to firmly register in your minds is, even though electrons, they move from negative to the positive end conventionally, the direction of current flow, it is taken to be opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. Keep this in your mind. Even though electrons move from the negative to the positive end, conventionally the direction of electric flow or the current flow is taken to be opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. That is, the conventional flow of current is always from the positive end to the negative end of a cell. So this is a small thing which you have to remember, especially when you are going to draw the circuit diagrams ahead, electrical circuit diagrams, solving the numerical examples. Here students get a little bit confused. So even though electrons are moving from negative to the positive terminal, but for the conventional purpose, the flow of current is always shown from the positive to the negative terminal. With this, we wind up with our today's session. In our next session, we are going to study some more terms which are connected, which are related to current electricity. So I request all of you, before attending our next session, just go through the different concepts. Still, we are not really confirmed about the reduction in syllabus, 25% reduction which we were having last year due to the pandemic. We will be very positive like the flow of current, so we will expect very soon we will get a very firm and authentic information from the education department stating about the reduction in syllabus. Immediately we will inform you. Till then, whatever syllabus is there in the textbook, we will continue studying with the same, because as I have told you every time that whatever you study, something additional will not harm you, but it will add to your knowledge. Also, at the same time, I will request you, keep your journals completed. In the live session anytime I will be asking you for your completed journals. I will tell you to show your completed journal, and then I will enter the marks under the practicals, because due to the pandemic we are not going to meet physically. We won't have practicals at least in the first term, so see to it that your journals are completed. I have discussed with the first experiment today, and coming Monday, that is on 23rd, I have told you that we are going to start with the first experiment from section B in 2 parts. On 2 Mondays you will get it. So after that only I will see your journals through the live session. So till then, thank you from my side. Stay at home, stay safe and keep studying. Thank you.